Have you ever felt lost in the noise of the world? Like you're constantly looking outside yourself for answers that never quite satisfy. This is a common feeling in our busy lives. We look to others for approval, to possessions for happiness, and to external circumstances for peace. But what if everything you've been searching for has been within you all along? This is what we'll explore in our first lesson about the inner journey. This path isn't new. Thousands of years ago, a young prince left his palace walls and discovered that true freedom comes not from what we have outside, but what we cultivate inside. His journey shows us that when life feels overwhelming, the answer isn't to gather more, but to look deeper within. Today, we'll start our exploration of why you only need yourself by understanding how to begin this inner journey, a path that leads to a kind of satisfaction that no external thing can provide. The first step on this path is awakening to self-awareness. Think of it like finally turning on a light in a room you've been fumbling around in for years. When the young prince left his palace, he wasn't just leaving luxury behind. He was stepping away from the illusion that comfort and pleasure were the same as happiness. He looked around at the real world, and then, more importantly, he looked within. This isn't about judging what you find inside. It's about simply noticing what's there, your thoughts, feelings, habits, with curious eyes rather than critical ones. Each day, take a few moments to sit quietly and just notice what's happening in your mind. What stories are you telling yourself? What feelings are moving through you? Just watching, like you're observing clouds passing in the sky. As you practice this self-awareness, you'll start noticing how much importance you've been giving to what others think of you. Praise makes you soar. Criticism makes you crash. But these opinions are like weather, always changing, never permanent. A wise teacher once said that being affected by others' opinions is like letting strangers decide your worth each morning. The truth is that approval from others is like riding on water. It doesn't last. And the constant search for it keeps you looking outward when the real treasure lies within. Start practicing standing firm in your own knowing, like a tree with deep roots that doesn't bend with every breeze. Speaking of treasures, there's a story about a poor man who slept every night above a buried treasure without knowing it was there. Many of us are like that man, unaware of the gifts, talents, and wisdom we already possess. Your unique experiences, your natural abilities, the lessons you've learned through challenges, these form a treasure chest inside you that no one can take away. You access this inner wealth through quiet moments of reflection. When you sit in stillness, away from distractions, you begin to hear the voice of your deeper wisdom speaking to you. This isn't mystical. It's simply the part of you that knows, that has been collecting insights all along, finally being given space to be heard. The final part of beginning this inner journey involves accepting yourself fully. A story tells of a monk who kept trying to polish a cracked mirror to perfection, only to finally realize that the cracks themselves made a beautiful pattern. Your flaws, struggles, and vulnerabilities aren't obstacles to overcome. They're essential parts of who you are. Learning to embrace these aspects with kindness creates a foundation of self-acceptance. When you practice self-compassion instead of harsh self-criticism, you cultivate fertile ground for growth. You learn to transform judgments into curiosity, shame into understanding, and perfectionism into genuine progress. This kind of acceptance doesn't mean giving up on improvement. It means improving from a place of wholeness rather than lack. Now let's talk about becoming your own guide. On his deathbed, the wise teacher told his followers, "Be a light unto yourself." He didn't say, "Keep following my words forever," or "Find another teacher when I'm gone." Instead, he reminded them that true wisdom comes from within. Think of yourself as holding a lamp in a dark forest. You might feel scared at first, wanting someone else to lead the way. But as your eyes adjust, you realize your lamp shines just enough light for the next few steps. This is how we move through life, not seeing the entire path, but trusting our inner light to guide each step. This means developing your own clear thinking. When you face a choice, don't immediately run to others for answers. Pause, breathe, and check in with yourself. What feels right? What values are important to you in this situation? This practice builds the muscle of your own wisdom. There's a famous teaching about some villagers who were visited by many different teachers, each claiming their way was best. Confused, they asked for advice. The answer they received was simple. Don't believe something just because everyone says it, or because it's written in books, or because a respected person said it. Test it yourself. If you find it helps reduce suffering and brings happiness, then follow it. This doesn't mean throwing away all outside wisdom. It means testing it in the laboratory of your own life instead of swallowing it whole. Does this teaching ring true when you apply it? Does it create more peace or more confusion? Your own experience becomes the measuring stick. Finding refuge in yourself means creating an inner sanctuary you can always return to. Life throws storms at everyone. Disappointments, losses, painful changes. When these storms come, most people look for shelter in others, in distractions, or in false promises. But the strongest shelter is the calm center within yourself. Think of it like having a small cabin deep in the woods that nobody else knows about. No matter what happens in the busy world, this quiet place belongs only to you. You build this cabin through daily moments of stillness, through remembering your deepest values, and through practicing trust in your basic goodness. Finally, understand that nobody else can walk your path. A teacher once told of people wanting to cross a river. The teacher could point to a boat, could explain how to row, but couldn't cross for them. Each person had to make the journey themselves. Your freedom, your understanding, your peace. These are personal journeys that no one else can take for you. Let's explore how to develop the resources you already have within you. Imagine your mind as a garden. Like any garden, what grows depends on how you tend it. A skilled gardener knows that beautiful flowers don't appear by accident. They require preparation, care, and the right conditions. First, you need to prepare the soil. In your mind, this means creating space for good things to grow. Each morning, take a few moments to clear away mental clutter, worries about yesterday, anxieties about tomorrow. Just as a gardener turns over soil to loosen it, you can use simple breathing to soften your mind. Feel your breath going in and out, noticing how it naturally clears space inside. Next come the seeds. A wise gardener doesn't scatter seeds randomly, but plants them with care. Similarly, you can plant positive qualities in your mind. When you notice kindness in yourself or others, pause and really take it in. When you feel grateful for something, let that feeling sink deep. When you accomplish something, acknowledge it fully rather than rushing to the next task. These moments are like planting seeds that will grow with attention. Of course, every garden has unwanted weeds. In your mind, these are negative thought patterns, old hurts you keep replaying, or harsh judgments about yourself and others. Don't fight these weeds with more negativity. That's like trying to wash mud with mud. Instead, gently notice them and return to tending what you want to grow. As one teacher put it, what you water grows. There's a story of a master who turned ordinary metals into gold. This wasn't magic, but a process of applying heat and pressure with great skill and patience. You have the same ability with your difficulties. That argument that keeps bothering you? It contains seeds of understanding about what matters to you. That failure, that stings. Inside it are lessons that no success could teach. That painful loss? It carries the potential for deeper compassion. This is the alchemy of working with your own mind. Not running from challenges, but transforming them into wisdom. When anger arises, you can learn to feel its energy without being burned by it. When fear appears, you can recognize what it's trying to protect without being paralyzed. Each difficult emotion becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. Finally, remember that everything you experience becomes part of your inner wealth. Like a traveler who carefully packs only what's needed, you can learn to carry the essence of your experiences without being weighed down by them. The insight from a challenging conversation, the peace from a quiet moment in nature, the strength discovered during a difficult time, these become resources you can draw upon whenever needed. Now we turn to bringing all the parts of yourself together in a harmonious whole. There's a story about a kingdom that was once divided into fighting regions. Nothing could be accomplished because each area was working against the others. Only when a wise ruler united them did the kingdom find peace and prosperity. Your inner world works the same way. Often we feel pulled in different directions. One part wants to rest, another feels we should work harder. One part seeks adventure, another craves safety. These inner conflicts drain our energy and cloud our judgment. The practice of inner unity means learning to listen to all these parts and finding the balance that honors each one's wisdom. This means bringing together your mind, body, and heart. When you think one thing but feel another, or when your body is tired, but your mind keeps pushing, these are signs of inner division. Try this. Before making decisions, check in with your thoughts, your feelings, and your physical sensations. Are they aligned or giving you different messages? True wisdom emerges when all three are in harmony. A master archer once explained that hitting the target wasn't about forcing the arrow, but about becoming so centered that archer, bow, and target felt like one reality. Your life works the same way. When your actions match your deepest values, you don't waste energy fighting yourself. First, get clear about what matters most to you. Not what should matter or what matters to others, but what truly resonates in your heart. Is it kindness, truth, creating beauty, contributing to others? Once you know your core values, use them as a compass. When faced with choices, ask yourself, does this align with what matters most to me? This creates a life of integrity, where your outer actions flow naturally from your inner truth. Many of us wear different masks depending on who we're with. One face for work, another for family, another for friends. While some adaptation is natural, too much shape-shifting disconnects us from ourselves. There's a story of a monk who wore elaborate ceremonial robes for years. One day, he removed them all and found he'd forgotten who he was beneath them. True strength comes from being the same person in all situations, not rigid, but authentic. This doesn't mean sharing every thought or feeling, but ensuring that what you do share is genuine. Start by noticing when you feel most naturally yourself and when you feel you're playing a role. Gradually bring more of your authentic self into all situations. The final aspect of inner integrity is being fully present with yourself. Many people will do almost anything to avoid being alone with their own mind, constantly seeking noise, activity, or distraction. Yet the most profound relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. Learning to be good company for yourself is a priceless skill. Our final lesson might seem surprising. After all this talk about self-reliance, we now explore how true independence actually connects us more deeply with others. Picture a lotus flower. Its roots grow deep in the mud, but its blossom rises above the water, beautiful and unsoiled. This is the paradox. Being firmly rooted in yourself allows you to engage with the world without being submerged by it. When you depend on others for your sense of worth or happiness, relationships become a form of need rather than choice. You grasp tightly, fearing loss. But when you've found wholeness within yourself, you can form connections based on freedom rather than need. You choose relationships not to fill emptiness, but to share fullness. Think of two people leaning against each other to stand up. If either moves, both fall. Now picture two people standing firmly on their own, reaching out their hands to connect. This is the difference between dependence and healthy interdependence. When you know you can stand alone, Joining with others becomes a dance rather than a desperate clinging. There's a story about a spring that never ran dry. Even in drought seasons, it continued to provide fresh water for all who came. People wondered about its source until someone discovered an underground river feeding it constantly. Your inner fullness works the same way. When you're connected to your own source, you can give without depletion. Your kindness, wisdom, and presence flow naturally because they're constantly renewed from within. This giving becomes effortless, not a draining sacrifice, but a natural overflow. You listen deeply because you're at peace inside, not frantically planning what to say next. You offer help because it feels good to share your strengths, not to earn approval. You speak truth because you're secure in yourself, not seeking validation. Ancient temples often contained halls of mirrors where students would see themselves reflected from different angles. Similarly, every person you meet reflects something about yourself. Sometimes it's qualities you recognize, other times aspects you've denied. The irritation you feel at someone's behavior might point to something unacknowledged in yourself. The admiration you feel for another's courage might awaken your own sleeping bravery. These reflections aren't about judgment, but about recognition. When you see that everyone shares the same basic human experiences, wanting happiness, fearing pain, seeking meaning, your heart naturally opens. This isn't abstract philosophy, but practical wisdom. The more you understand yourself, the more you understand others, and the more naturally compassion flows. Having journeyed inward and found your center, you're now ready to return to the world with new eyes. This completes the circle. The wisdom gained through self-knowledge doesn't separate you from others, but helps you engage more fully. Like a traveler who returns home seeing it with fresh appreciation, you participate in everyday life with deeper understanding. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. If these teachings have resonated with you, I invite you to take the next step on your own path of inner exploration. These ancient wisdoms have transformed countless lives throughout history, and they can transform yours too. If you found value in today's video, please help spread these teachings by hitting the like button and sharing it with someone who might benefit. Each share creates a ripple effect that can touch many lives. I'm committed to bringing more of these timeless lessons to our modern world, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos on wisdom teachings that can bring more peace, clarity, and fulfillment to your life. Remember, the greatest teacher you'll ever have is already within you. Until next time, may you discover the endless treasures of your own inner wisdom.